Hello, welcome to Whole Life Nourishment, where wellness meets lasting happiness. I will be your host and your guide and your support along the way. My name is Michelle Dwyer, and I am a holistic health coach and certified nutrition consultant. I have a master's of science in health and nutrition education. I'm also a professional member of the National Association of Nutrition Professionals. I'm board certified in holistic nutrition, and I'm also an agent of positive change. And so I am so thrilled to be talking with you today about whole life nourishment and lasting happiness. So, we're going to start with what is whole life nourishment? So, often when we think about nourishment, we might first think about food and nutrition, which is important. We need to nourish our bodies daily with food and nutrition, but it's so much more. And so, when we're thinking about true, lasting, sustainable happiness in our lives, we want to think about all these aspects of whole life nourishment: our food and nutrition, our sleep and our rest, our exercise and our movement, our schedule, habit, routines, and rituals, and then also our connection to ourself, our mindset, our connection to others, and our purpose and mission. So that's what I'm going to be guiding you through today, and I'm so excited to be here. So, we are going to be talking about how happiness as a way of life using this whole life nourishment wellness wheel. Because I truly believe when you are truly nourishing all aspects of your life, your body, your mind, and your spirit, then you create the foundation for lasting happiness. We are talking about the laying the foundation, like the good soil, the good place to plant the roots so that we can sprout and grow the fruits and grow the flowers of lasting happiness. So you can make this lovely wheel at home. I will be guiding you through the various aspects of the whole life nourishment wellness wheel. Or if you want to pause in just a moment, I'll show you how you can download that for yourself. So today we're going to go over the 8 areas of whole life nourishment in more depth. As we go through each aspect, I want you to compassionately and honestly self-assess how much focus, attention, or mindfulness you are currently giving to this area. And you can write down 2 or 3 ways that this category is currently being nourished, or if ideas pop into your mind for how to cultivate or create more opportunities to support this area, you can also jot those down. So let's connect to this happiness as a way of life. So again, if you want to pause, you can download this free, beautiful wellness wheel by going to healthcoachmichelle.com. This is your free gift. Or right now, you can just use your own pen and paper and write down your reflections and download it later. So again, we're going to use this wellness wheel, 2 to 3 ways the category is currently being nourished, ideas for ways to cultivate more opportunities. And then when we're all done, you can put a little heart in the areas that are currently well nourished, each one of the categories, or put a star in the areas where you'd like to focus a little bit more attention or intention. So let's get started. So we're going to start with food and nutrition. Other than breathing, we need to breathe multiple times a day. We need to drink water. We need to get good sleep, which we'll talk about in a moment. But we need to nourish ourselves with food and nutrition. So as you're looking at that area of your whole life wellness wheel, I want you to think about, what are you doing right now for your food choices that are working for you? What habits and nutrition in food is actually going well, is working well for your body? Is there anything you want to adjust or add? Is there anything you need to release, even for a little while? And then where is there joy in your food and nutrition? Is there joyful cooking, joyful eating, joyful shopping? I want you to take a moment to also think about food and nutrition as a place of joy. Because when you establish more clarity and confidence around your personalized food choices and nutrition routines, the truth is you can feel more energized, more balanced, more nourished all day long. And when we feel that way, this leads to lasting happiness. I know for me, when my food and nutrition is out of balance, I don't feel well. I don't feel energized in my body. I don't feel balanced in my body. And it's hard for me to to feel happy, to access that feeling of happiness if my body is feeling out of balance in this way. So then we move to sleep and rest. This is another important part of our physical, emotional, spiritual aspect of our health and well being. So when you think about your sleep and your rest, what is currently working with your current nighttime routine? Are you going to bed at a time that works for you? Are you waking up at a time that works for you? How well are you sleeping throughout the night? Is there anything you want to shift with your current nighttime routine? I always love asking clients this too. How much time at night do you need to unwind? Do you need time to finish up the dishes? Do you need time to do your skincare or your teeth routine? Do you have to take care of others like pets or family members? Do you need to take your supplements or medications? Do you like to read before bed or meditate before bed? So these are all things to think about when you're thinking about your nighttime routine to help get your body and mind and spirit ready for sleep. I also love talking about rest because rest is also a radical act. Are you taking a moment in the day to just close your eyes, to step outside into the sunshine for a moment? Are you doing a little bit of stretching throughout the day? We can take moments of rest throughout the day because that is just as important as the hours of sleep that we're getting at night. So, when we're practicing effective strategies to support better quality sleep and rest, I have found that to be essential to having vital health, more energy, less cravings, more resiliency. Because when we're well rested, we're able to be present to true happiness. I know that if I have not gotten a good night's sleep, I feel more dysregulated. I feel more apt to be quick to emotion or have difficulty regulating my emotions. I might have more cravings. So I like to front load our access to happiness by making sure we are getting the sleep and the rest that we need. So next we talk about movement and exercise. And I like to use the word movement because if you're not a big fan of quote unquote exercise, the key is, are you moving your body joyfully, easefully throughout the day? So how often are you moving your body? I don't know about you, but I'm at my desk a lot. So I need to consciously get up and stretch, get up and get a drink of water, get up and move about so that I'm not just sitting all day long. Make sure that whatever movement or exercise plan you have, that it's enjoyable and it's fun. Have you ever thought about that? That it ought to be enjoyable and fun at least some of the time? If there's something you really don't like doing, maybe you don't do it. Like life is too short to be doing something that we don't want to be doing. There's so many different ways to move our body. What kind of movement or exercise are you currently doing right now? And this can change over our lifetime if we're dealing with an injury, if we're dealing with recovery, if we've been ill. We might have to adjust our movement or our exercise, but it might look a little bit different. Like it might be doing some gentle stretching. It might be doing a short walk in the neighborhood. Start small, start easy, start with what's accessible, and then build from there. The other thing I really encourage if we're wanting to nourish our movement and exercise is, where is it on your schedule? Or do you have a buddy, right? We'll often show up for a friend to go for a walk. Whereas for ourselves, we might be like, oh, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm too this, I'm too that. But we'll show up for our buddy at the gym or for a walk or at an exercise class. And then, as I mentioned, checking in with how often you're sitting in a day. So the idea is when you focus on more daily enjoyable movement, and I really mean that about enjoyable, you can help relieve stress, you can support your immune health, and of course, we want to feel stronger. It's all about feeling stronger these days. We are letting go of feeling skinny or small. We are here to be strong. And also, I find that movement and exercise can really allow us to be more present in our body, which allows us to have greater happiness. I enjoy moving my body. I like going to dance classes. I like going for hikes. I like taking walks with friends. And what I've really noticed, and I've been doing my strength training because I'm 51 and I need to be working on my strength and I want to work on my strength. And one of the things that I notice at this stage in my life is that my happiness is in direct relation to how much I'm moving my body. When I'm moving my body daily, joyfully, connecting with other people, doing this for myself, my happiness is way, way higher, and my access to happiness is way higher. So then we get to schedule, habits, routine, and rituals. And sometimes I wonder if I need to start here, right? It's like, yes, I know I need to do my food and my nutrition and my sleep and my exercise. How do I make it all happen in a day? So I hear you, I get you. So how can we make this a priority? So I like talking about creating a happiness schedule. What does a happiness schedule look like for you? If your goal in a day is more joy, more ease, more energy, more fulfillment, more connection, more purpose, more compassion, right, which is creating more happiness, then think about your schedule and build your schedule from there. Now, there might be some aspects of your schedule that you have no control over. Maybe your work schedule or maybe your caretaking schedule. There might be things in your day that you're like, I have to show up here, Michelle. This is what I have to do. Okay, great. So start with where there are the known knowns and then look to see where is there space for happiness? Where is there space for more joy? Where is there space for more rest? So I like going through the schedule for you to think about when and how are you eating your nourishing food? You're preparing and shopping for it. When are you moving your body? When and how are you taking your supplements or your medications? Are these things that you need to take in the morning or on an empty stomach or at night before bed or with a meal? What time are you going to bed and waking up? A lot of studies have shown that yes, how much sleep you're getting in a night is important, how much quality sleep, but regular sleep times, regular wake up times is what our body really loves. How much time do you have to connect with yourself? Now, if you're like, Michelle, I have no time to connect with myself, start small. Start small. Take 1 minute when you get in your car to take a deep breath, put on some good music, put on a fun podcast, put on a great audiobook. That can be just a quick moment, 1 minute to connect with yourself. Or before you're heading home after work or after appointments or after pickup, taking that moment, just taking 1 minute. If you just start with 1 minute, taking some breaths, taking some time to connect with yourself. How and when are you connecting with others? So we know that happiness is also in direct connection with connecting with people who lift us up, who support us, who we walk away feeling like, oh, my cup is full. So are you making time in a week to connect with others that fill you up? If you are still working or need to work, when and how can you work most productively, most efficiently, most in alignment with your own habits and patterns if you have any flexibility there? I know this one's a tricky one. You're on a device right now. That's how you get to hear what I'm saying. But are you being more mindful about turning off those devices, turning off the electronics? This is something I know that I am still working on. I have to set up a little like blocks on my phone just to be like, hey, Michelle, you're not going to get on your phone right now. Go read a book, go do the dishes, go take a walk, go water the garden. There's so many other things to go do than to be on my phone right now. And then there's all the other things that we need to do in a week. Our housely chores or our personal hygiene. Are there other things that are important parts of your daily and weekly needs that are special to you? So I like just starting with what do you have going on? Where are you prioritizing? And where is there space to even just take another minute to support some of these things? So the idea is creating healthy happiness patterns. Listen to that. Healthy happiness patterns allows you to move through your day with more ease, energy, joy, and focus. The more we can make our happiness a routine habit, a routine pattern, then it becomes a way of life, right? It's like we could go into automating happiness. Isn't that amazing? We can automate our happiness. When we make happiness the intention in our routine, even just shifting that intention, we can elevate the energy of the day. One thing I like to practice, and this is a mindset shift, is instead of saying, I have to go to my exercise class. I have to pick up my medications. I have to take my supplements. I have to eat my salad. Shift it to, I get to. I get to eat my salad. I get to go move my body. I get to go pick up my medications that are going to support my health. I get to take my supplements. I get to connect with my friends. So even just making that little subtle shift from have to get to can really support thinking about our routine and our schedule from a happiness perspective. So now we move into some more of the emotional, spiritual, mindset aspects of our health and well-being, which I think are just as important as the physical. They're just as important. So when we talk about connection to self, there are so many different ways that we can think about this. This is not a to-do list. If you're watching this right now and you're seeing all these bullet points, this is not a to-do list, okay? I want you to think about, how am I currently connecting to myself, even in little tiny ways on a daily basis, or are there some areas that I want to cultivate more? So this could be how you're unwinding at the end of a workday. This could be how you practice quieting your mind or the internal chatter. This could be how you are working on a proactive mindset. And I know there's going to be some amazing speakers in the summit talking about mindset. How can you create more inner peace? Is it taking a deep breath before you go on your commute, right? Because you know that there's going to be other wild drivers. Is it putting on really calming music while you drive? How can we practice self-love and radical self-care, even in little tiny ways? I'm also a big believer in celebrating life on a daily basis. I feel like it's a real true privilege to be here on this earth, on this timeline at this moment. So how can we show gratitude for that on a daily basis? How can we bring in more joy, more creativity, more play, more curiosity, more spontaneity? Also, this is you engaging your intellect and your mind. So are you a person who likes to learn new things? Are you a lifelong learner? Do you like to learn a new skill, or do you like to listen to audiobooks that are about an aspect of science or health or history or you know, social life? Like, there's so many different things. Do you have hobbies? Do you have ways to unwind and relax? This is also about creating financial abundance. I put it here under connection to self. There's other places where, of course, our financial abundance is about connection to others, about our mission and purpose, but also creating financial abundance, I think, is a good way to, is a very important part of honoring our own self-worth, our own self-care. This could also be about cultivating beauty and surrounding yourself with beauty, or creating a calm, nourishing, relaxing, aligned home or space. Is it getting some plants? Is it decluttering your closet? These are all about connection to self. So this is about daily practice to cultivate small ways, start small, to have meaningful self-care time. Self-care time can look a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. This is self-love mindset. This is expressions of creativity. And this is opportunities for pleasure and joy, even on the hardest of days. Where can we find gratitude? Where can we find joy? Where can we find even just a moment of peace? So this gets us to our next topic, which is mindset. And I'm going to go over this fairly quickly because there are some amazing practitioners that go deep, deep, deep on the mindset piece. However, I do feel like it is one of the most important things we can do to really cultivate a happiness perspective, a happiness mindset, and to really use whole life nourishment to make all these shifts and changes that we might want to see by shifting our mindset. So it might just start with, what are the thoughts you have about yourself throughout the day? What is that internal chatter saying to you? What are those voices in your head saying all day long? Are they supportive? Are they kind? Are they compassionate? Are they helpful? Or are the messages you're telling yourself full of criticism or doubt or fear or judgment or shame? We just want to start by hearing them. We just want to start by acknowledging them. You could even write them down. Writing them down really kind of helps us to hear them and see them. And then we can start to reframe them. We can start to change how we think about ourselves, how we think about our day. And as we know, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? So the classic example is that water glass half full or half empty? Well, both are true. However, if you have a growth mindset, a positive mindset, and say, you know what, I'm going to see that as half full, then your access to happiness, your mindset, your willingness to see how things are happening for you increases. So this could be about setting intentions for the day if you're into mantras or affirmations or positive statements. If you love stickers or putting these on your phone or putting these on your mirror, that we know that when we reinforce this positive mindset, that it actually positively shifts not just our behavior, but how we are interpreting our life and our world. This is not about negating your feelings. This is not about, putting a smile on everything. Feel your feelings, validate your feelings, feel the truth of the situation. A day can be hard. A moment can be really making you feel sad or angry or lonely. Those are all authentic feelings. And feel those feelings and then also think, okay, I am feeling this feeling. I'm experiencing this feeling. And this is what I'm going to do with it moving forward. So when it comes to mindset, when we focus on how our thoughts are shaping our experience of reality, then you're going to think about how to create more mindfulness practices throughout the day, right? This doesn't have to be a half an hour meditation, right? If you don't have a time for a half an hour meditation, just taking a moment to pause, catch your breath, set an intention throughout the day. This allows us to remain more energized, grounded, spacious, and focused. And I really do think our mindset practice is key to our happiness practice. And it's a practice. We practice it again and again and again every single day. So now we get to connection to others, which I think is an important part. We are meant to be in community. We are meant to be in connection. Now, each one of us is going to have a different level of what that means for us. For some of us, that might be our partner, our family, our close community. We don't need a huge group to feel connected. And some people really, like to connect on a very, very large level. We all have our different needs. This looks different for everybody, but connection to others is part of our human experience. So when I think of connection to others, there's lots of different ways to think about this. This could be your connection to universe, source, spirit, God, whatever you call it. It could be to this planet Earth. It could be to your country or countries. Maybe you feel connected to many countries. It could be your state or your province, your neighborhood, your communities. These might be your spiritual communities or your social movements, your professional relationships, your personal relationships, family, partners, pets, animals, nature. There's so many ways to think about connection to others. And it's a helpful thing to think, are these authentic? Are these mutually beneficial? Are these filling us up? And I just love this image. If you're watching this presentation, it's just a good reminder that we are all interconnected. So when we feel isolated, when we feel disconnected, when we feel lonely, those are all valid feelings to feel. And just it's a really good reminder that on this larger global larger global view, we are all connected together because we're all on this planet together, hurtling through space on this little blue marble. So it kind of puts things in perspective there. So I really love to encourage people to focus on building meaningful relationships from a place of authenticity, you being true to yourself, you being true to the relationship, giving from the overflow, and creating healthy boundaries. And this is what allows us to be in a balanced state of happiness with others. And this is why I love doing whole life nourishment, because I could talk about this for a very long time. So let's see. Okay, next step is we are going to talk about mission and purpose. So, mission and purpose. So, we've gone through so much of the wellness wheel together. We've thought about, what am I eating? How am I sleeping? How am I moving my body? Am I creating a joyful schedule? Am I connecting with myself? Am I connecting with others? What's my mindset? And then we get to mission and purpose. This is the big picture. This is the why we are here. And so many happiness studies have said the more we are connected to our mission and purpose, the happier we are. And so I have a list of questions here to help you connect with your mission and purpose. I don't expect you to answer these today. These are deep questions. These are ones that you might want to meditate on, pray on, write about, journal, talk about with a friend or a loved one. But write them down, take a screenshot, think about these, and let them sort of simmer and percolate, plant some seeds. But some things to get you thinking about your mission and purpose. What's your why? Your big why. Why are you here? Why are you here now? What's your bigger why? So for me, as I mentioned in the beginning, I am an agent of positive change. That is my big why. Why am I here? Why am I here now? To be witness to transformation. That's my own personal transformation. That's my client's transformation. That's the transformation, the positive transformation of my planet, my communities, my neighborhood. I believe in positive change. I am here to witness it in others, celebrate it in others, and do my own work for it as well. That's my why. That's my why. But your why might be very, very different. So, what motivates you? What motivates you? What have been the most meaningful moments in your life, and what values were presented in those moments? Here's another one I love. If I had unlimited time, energy, and resources, how would I choose to serve others? I call this the magic wand question. You have a magic wand and you have unlimited time, energy, and resources. How would you choose to serve others? How would you want to show up in this world? What opens your heart or stirs your passion so deeply that you feel called to respond? What are your natural gifts? What are your natural skills? What are your qualities that others consistently recognize in you, or you have consistently recognized in yourself? And this one I think is so important. At the end of your life, what do you want to be remembered for? I know these are big questions. I know. Write them down, think about them, talk about them, mull them over, and they might shift and change throughout your life. So, when it comes to mission and purpose, developing and nurturing your sense of why you are here now creates that deep, inner, lasting happiness. Mission and purpose is not fleeting. Mission and purpose may change, it may transform, it may be mutable, but it's not seeking the next shiny object. I don't think you were here to seek the next shiny object. Deep, lasting happiness comes from connecting to our mission and purpose. I know you've come into this world at this time to make the largest positive impact, so let's do that together. So that is whole life nourishment. That is what I'm talking about when I say when we nourish, when we're paying attention, when we are feeding, seeding, watering, growing all these aspects of our life, that is how we cultivate more happiness. So, as I mentioned, writing down the ways that this area is already being nourished, writing down some ways there might be some opportunities to support it more. And then this is the thing I want you to do now. Put a heart next to the areas that are like, okay, I'm doing okay here. Put a heart like that one's going okay. That one is on a mission. I'm clear about my sleep and rest, or I've got my mindset game down. Put a heart next to the one that you're like, that's going well. And then put a little star in the areas where you'd like to focus on it a little bit more. And again, you're going to bring that energy of compassion, openness, curiosity, kindness. We're not judging ourselves. We're not focusing on lack or scarcity here. We're just thinking, oh, okay, this could use a little bit more nourishment right now. So this is Whole Life Nourishment. Welcome to it. Again, you can get your free copy. It leads you through everything that I just did. But if you're more of a auditory, visual person, you can turn this on at any time. You can do this quarterly. You can do this every change of season. So you could do it on the solstices and the equinox. You could do this at the beginning of a new year or a new school year. I love returning to Whole Life Nourishment again and again and again because it allows us to acknowledge that we are always changing, shifting beings. And sometimes one thing is being nourished and other times we need to nourish something else. So go get your free copy at healthcoachmichelle.com. And it's been lovely to connect with you. I hope you found this nourishing. I hope you found this lifted your spirit, this lifted your sense of happiness and well-being. And I'd love to connect with you. So find me at healthcoachmichelle.com, and I look forward to connecting in the future. Have a beautiful, happy day, everyone.